again, South Florida. This is Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler. He's the founder of the LS Financial Group, along with Art Athanas. And also joining us today is Eric Brown, financial advisor with the LS Financial Group and the LSF Capital Group. I'm just your host, Spike Spangle. Gentlemen, it's good to see you. How you doing, Len? How's it going this week?
Doing good, Spike. Good to see you again.
Eric, thank you for joining us again. I guess we didn't beat you up too bad for the first TV show. You're back and you're
Feeling
smiling. Good. Fantastic. Today, I think we'd like to talk about the difference between having investment accounts and actually having a financial plan. I think it's one of the biggest misnomers that folks have when you come into your office for the very first time. You'll often ask, can we see your financial plan? Let's review it. And they hand you a whole bunch of statements, right?
That's exactly right.
They hand you their investment accounts. You're like, well, wait a second, that's not necessarily a plan. Right or wrong on that?
That's right. That's correct. You're right. Yeah, it's amazing. You know, we're kind of trained that way, I think, in the industry. You know, give me your statements. Let's take a look at them. Let's compare them from Morningstar or some other, organization that's going to tell us what they're doing or not doing. But I mean, is that really helping a person about their strategy and what they want? What do they want their money to really do? What's the purpose of your money? You know, so we take a whole different approach to that, Spike, and we're so happy to have Eric with us now and be able to offer that side of the business now where we can actually help them with manage money as well. And be able to take a complete look at everything now.
Eric, that's kind of the first meeting, right? You say, look, if you're comfortable with it, bring in your statements. We're not going to make any suggestions. We're not pitching. We're not selling anything. But let's see where we're starting from. And especially if you've got two spouses there, we've got different accounts, different 401ks, different investment accounts, maybe an inheritance for mom and dad. Got a whole bunch of stuff there. So where do you start in putting that together and actually creating a plan?
Yeah, well, the first meeting just starts with getting to know the individuals. So you mentioned two spouses. We want to speak to both of them, have an understanding of what their family looks like, what their needs and financial goals are, what their investments look like, sure, but we also want to understand what their goals are, what unexpected expenses may be coming up. Are they paying for kids' colleges? Things like that we really want to have a viewpoint of their entire financial picture.
Yeah, and we also want them to come in together, okay? I mean, again, nowadays, there are a lot of women that are taking over that role, okay?
Yes.
We understand that, and we've had that happen. But, it's both your retirement, so we encourage them to come in together. We've had folks come in, and, we're working with them a little bit about, well, what are your goals? What do you want to do? And the guy says, well, I'm going golfing at least 6 days a week. And she goes, oh, no, you're not. We're going to travel to see the grandkids. And I'm going, oh, boy, here we go.
I think we even got out of that meeting. We said, look, we're acting like financial therapists.
Yeah,
at this
right.
point.
We're not counselors here.
Eric, did you know that when you were coming over to the LS Financial Group? Wait a minute, I'm a financial psychologist here.
Yeah, I like it, though. I enjoy that aspect because it's not just working with numbers, which I do like to do. It's part of my job, but I really enjoy getting to know the family and the individuals we work with.
And that's, I think, what you mean when we say holistic. So the holistic, it doesn't just mean the investments. We did this because we were having some fun in the radio booth a couple hours ago together on your weekly radio show. Yes or no in holistic planning? Obviously, the investments are in there, yes?
Yes.
Okay. What about taxes? Yes or no? What about estate planning?
Yes.
Okay. What about health care choices like long-term care? Yep. What about those Social Security and Medicare choices?
Absolutely.
Everything. Yeah.
All right, so holistic,
whole thing.
All right, that sounds like a very busy day to me.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. So how do you fit that all together in the holistic plan? Is this something you enjoy doing, Len?
No, I don't at all.
Nice. Nice.
I've got my partner, Art, and I got Eric here, right?
That's right.
No, seriously, folks, I love helping people. I love people, and I love helping people. But look, my part and what I do is this right here. What you and I do, I like to get out. I like to do workshops. I love to do the work in the local communities. My partner, Art, all right, we call him the financial master chef. He's been doing it 33 years, right here, folks, in South Florida. Eric has been doing it many years now. All right, I've got a team around me that folks, they know what they're doing. Their role is to make sure that they do the planning, that they're up to date on all the offerings, they're up to date on the software, et cetera. And so we have a team that pulls that all together. So, no, I absolutely want to help folks.
You're going to not do it all by yourself. You've got a whole bunch of people in it. Fantastic. And that's what the LS Financial Group
Correct.
is all about. Eric, I want to ask you then, so does this differ from where you came from? How is the holistic planning different than even traditional financial planning was 10, 20, 30 years ago? Is this a whole new game, or is it just a little bit better game with more tools?
Yeah, in terms of where I came from, it's definitely different. I worked for a big box company for a little bit of time prior to this, so that change was different. Joining here an independent advisor that can really act as a fiduciary and seek to serve our clients' best needs with their best needs in mind. So to answer your question about the landscape changing, financial planning has just evolved over time. Life is more complex, and investments are more complex now. There's no pensions, like we said earlier.
Right,
you know, pensions are going away as the time goes on. So I think in this evolving landscape, it's important to really look in depth to every client's portfolio and understand where they're sitting.
You're basically saying this is not your grandfather's retirement. You know, it's different. And in part because it's longer. I think that's definitely one of the changing aspects of our retirement today.
Absolutely.
I think when we come back from the break, again, I like when we go through these client case studies, kind of, you know, how did you help untangle the knots? Maybe you can kind of explain how you help people achieve their dreams in retirement. That's part of it. The investing, the numbers, the taxes, the Medicare, those are all choices and conversations. But I want to see how people do what they want to do in retirement when we come back from the break, if you don't mind. Before we do that, though, I want to make sure that everybody knows about Len's new book, The Way of the Financial Warrior. Now, you can get a complimentary copy if you call the phone number and you come on in for an appointment. This is about defensive strategies in retirement. I know you were very excited about it. What kicked off you wanting to write this book?
Well, you know, I'm a 6th-degree black belt. I came up in the streets of Philly, the projects of Philly. I had to fight my way out of there. But, you know, I took the martial arts techniques and things that I've learned, focus, balance, discipline, and I took those things and said, you know, why don't I put those into the financial world and make it a fun read, right? And at the same time, take the concepts and make the concepts much more readable and easy to understand for laymen, okay, for lay folks. And that's what I've done. And you're right, it's a financial steps, 5 different steps, movements, shifts that you can do that will help you stay safe, right? Because the name of our show is Let's Talk Safe Money. And also, folks, most of all, peace of mind.
Right. Folks, if you'd like to get a complimentary copy of Len's brand new book, Way of the Financial Warrior, call the phone number you see here. When you come in for an appointment, Len will give you an autographed copy of it, and he'll do a high kick for you right there.
Right. I don't think so.
As well. Folks, more Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler, Eric Brown, myself, Spike Spangle, when we get back right after this message.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler, Eric Brown, and myself, Spike Spangle. Every single week we talk about retirement planning solutions for you in retirement. And today we're talking about the holistic concept of retirement planning. It's not just about the investments. Taxes are very important, income stream very important. But you want to talk about another aspect, building lifestyle, being able to check off all that stuff from the bucket list, Eric, right?
Yeah, and as we were talking earlier about how traditional financial planning is changing, I really thought about a client me, Len, and Art met with a couple weeks ago. Her name's Ginny, and she retired here down in South Florida. And when we met with her, she brought us all her assets and statements and showed us, you know, what her income looks like and what her plan is, you know, so as we're helping build this and helping create an income plan, an investment plan, we want to, like you said, take a look at external factors. So anything to do with her lifestyle and different things happening. So funny, you know, story about her is she's going on a cruise around the world.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
so she told us about this, and
we call this the dream plan.
Yeah,
by the way,
this
right?
is a dream plan
Right,
around the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when we're looking at this, we want to understand folks' dreams and what their goals are. You know, she's a huge traveler. She wants to see the world, and I resonate with that. I love to travel as well.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting to have that conversation and incorporate that when me and the master chef go behind the scenes and create the plan.
Oh, wait, so this, well, what kind of cost are we looking at for an around the world trip?
You know, we sat there in the meeting kind of estimating it. Somewhere between 50 and 100,000 is where we came upon with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 50 to 100. Okay. All right. So this isn't something she's doing every year.
Right. It's going to be a one-time thing. She's in her early 70s now and wants to do it while she can, while she's healthy, while she feels good. And yeah, she knows it's going to be a big chunk from her savings, but feels like she's at a place where she can do that.
If you don't mind me asking, kind of a round number here, what else does she have in this outside savings?
Yeah, so I believe with her plan, she had a little over $1 million saved up. So about 800,000 in her 401k, and then the others came from like a miscellaneous Roth IRA and some savings she had.
Okay, and my God, wow, the questions are just exploding. How long is this trip going to be?
So it's long. It's about 10 to 12 months.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. So we're 50, 75, maybe $100,000, but that's all an expensive
Right.
year's worth of expenses.
So yeah.
But traveling the world, obviously, getting off the boat,
Breakfast,
going,
dinners,
seeing
all that. I
things.
mean, that stuff adds up for sure.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, Len, this isn't always the dream. We have all different kinds of dreams that you put together for folks.
Absolutely. You know, we have clients come in. It's interesting. There's so many different ones. You know, we have folks come in to Florida, of course, and their big dream is to take their sons or daughters out on a big, huge fishing trip, right, being in Florida. Maybe it's a golf excursion or whatever. You know, I had one client came in and wanted to take his boys to do elk hunting. You know, take one of those tricks, or Africa. I had somebody wanted to go to a safari on a big hunt with his sons.
Wow.
So yeah, and me myself, you know, look, I'm an airborne ranger. I've shared that with you before. Yes. I've jumped out of perfectly good airplanes, but one of my bucket lists is I've always wanted to fly one, and so.
Oh, you actually want to see the flight all the way through?
All the way through, right, without jumping. So,
fantastic.
But anyway, to answer your question,
or maybe you want to have the kids be able to come down from up north and stay here, or you want to be able to have the trips to be able to go back and forth to see them. But all of this planning needs to go not just into the baseline of paying the bills, making sure we were taking care of taxes and inflation and all that, but building in those dreams. So, Eric, where do you carve that out into the plan, this dream planning? Is this separate buckets? Is this a different term of saving money? Does this maybe come from like the cash emergency savings? Where does the fund plan get built?
Well, the fund plan is important because we want to look at what the client wants to do and what their goals are. As far as where they're taking it from, that's going to come to the design and the structure of the plan we put in place. So that's really the main part of this is figuring out where that money's coming from, right? And people look to us as financial advisors to give them direction there. They know they need to take out, for Ginny's case, close to $100,000. So the question is, where do I take this money from? Which accounts? Is it the IRA or is it the savings I have? So that's the big question that we piece together for the individual.
Eric, though, I actually have one really important question for Jenny, and I just want to know, does she have anybody to carry her bags for the entire year while she's gone? I'm just saying, I can be bought for a rate. It would be, no, is she going with a friend group or?
It sounds like she was just going solo.
Wow,
it's
so exciting. This is what we build the financial plans for, so you can do all those things that have ever been on your bucket list. Now, part of doing that is we say the holistic plan. So Ginny's other stuff is all set, her Social Security. You're not worried about her taxes. You're not worried about estate planning. Did she have others that she was worried about in an estate plan?
Well, this all encompasses her main goal was to have that peace of mind and clarity as far as this decision goes. So making the decision to go on the cruise, estate planning is a factor in that. She did need our help as far as creating a will and a trust and making sure her assets are going to provide her with longevity.
Right, right. So Len, for other folks who come to your live events, are these the kinds of questions you're getting as well? How can I build my dream scenario? What can I do to be able to live a fuller retirement? Do you get that at the live events?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, we have these live events. We'd love for folks to come out, folks. You can go to our website at lssafemoney.com. That's lssafe, S-A-F-E, money.com. We have them all the time. We've got a few coming up from now to the end of the year. Go there, you can register. They're, again, complimentary. And we have a lot of fun. They're educational. And yes, those questions do come up at those workshops.
Yeah. In fact, what are you finding was happening most frequently at your newest workshops? Is it the worry about inflation? Is it the worry about Social Security? Is it the worry about stock market volatility? What's the biggest concern right now?
All of those are in play, but the number one thing out of all the surveys that have been done by the banks and everything else, most of our folks, matter of fact, it's a kind of funny story. I asked that question, folks, what is the number one thing that keeps you up at night, right? And one guy raised his hand, he said, getting up to pee twice. I said, oh my goodness. But you know what, hey, when we're getting older in retirement.
We're going to have to censor that. I don't know if we can say that. I'm not responsible for what he said.
Anyway, no, but the number one thing is, will my money go the distance, okay? Do I have enough money? That longevity thing has to come off the table, and we have to deal with it.
Right, right. So we want to make sure that we put together a holistic plan for you. We can do that if you call the phone number right down here on the bottom of the screen. We'll talk to you not only about your investments, but how much risk are you taking? What are the fees that are inside those investments? Does it match what you're trying to do? We'll also talk about kind of a bucket system of your money. What are we going to be using in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road? We might want to be using different kinds of asset classes. Talk about estate planning, taxes, how and when to take your Social Security, Medicare, all of that put together. That, for us, is what we mean by holistic financial planning. We're going to come back with more with Len and Eric of Let's Talk Safe Money right after this. Call the phone number down here so you can get your own complimentary written financial plan right after this message.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Ben. Hey, birthday party for Carol and 5. Happy birthday to you.
Good morning, Ben. Happy Monday.
Daryl's birthday, be there every square. Happy birthday to you.
You can see from our quarterly report on slide number 62, we're trending in the right direction. All signs point to a very positive outlook for the next several years. If you peel back the onion...
Ben, do you have anything to add?
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler, Eric Brown of the LS Financial Group. I'm your host, Spike Spangle, and we're talking about, of course, income strategies as we usually do in retirement planning. But I think it often helps if we have examples, and you have folks who come in all of the time. But in putting together a holistic plan, why is it so important, especially for retirement planning, to make sure you're looking at all of the different avenues, not just the investments?
I think it's very important because right now we're feeling like a lot of clients want everything under one roof. They want to come to a place where they get advice on their investments and they get sound income plans set up, right? But what people really want is to have a comprehensive approach to where tax is there, estate planning's there. So we feel like that's just what the industry is is right now. We think that's very important to offer and to get to our clients. And this actually reminds me of someone we met with, me and Len, last week. His name's Dennis. He's retired here in South Florida, and he actually retired to golf. So he came down here from the north.
Good place to do it, I guess.
Yeah, wanted to get somewhere warm. And he told me and Len, he said, look, guys, I can't meet with you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It has to be Tuesday, Thursday. We can only meet then. I'm going to be on the course that whole day.
So in his dream plan, you had to build in T fees, right?
T fees, exactly, yeah.
Fees.
Right. So, but the dream plan's good because Dennis fits this approach and what people want. And he came to us, and one of the first things he said was, guys, how do I put this all together? He showed us his 401k. He had accumulated about $1.2 million in there. So he has $1.2 in tax-deferred assets.
And do you mind me asking about how old-ish? Where was he at?
Dennis, how old?
Yes.
He's 74, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's done a good job accumulating the assets, and he came down to retire. Really, he's only worried about taking out his RMDs. From there, he has to take the required distributions. But in addition to the investment advice, he wanted help comprehensively with taxes and estate planning.
Because it's not fun for you to have to try to pick up the phone and go, all right, now I got to find a CPA down here to help me with the taxes.
Right.
I got to find out, do I need an estate plan? Speaking of then, so did he have heirs? What did he need with estate plan?
He did, didn't he? Yeah.
Yep.
Matter of fact, he had 4, right?
And were they in this state, or was he the only one who came down?
They're all up north.
Up
yeah.
north. They're
Okay, all right.
north.
So now we're crossing over state lines, but we want to use the Florida state laws for putting together the estate plan.
Yeah, he mentioned that and was aware of that as well. So.
As a matter of fact, again, Spike, as you know, that's the whole idea of us building out this team. We have one of our co-founders is 𝗂𝘁. She's a CPA and a CFP, right? And he liked that. Again, he wanted some help there. We have a lady that the master chef, financial master chefs worked with for 20-some years, Barbara. She sometimes comes to our workshops, and she's an estate attorney. And so that he had some issues and, some things that he wanted to help with there. So he really did like this whole one-stop shop. And that's, again, why LSF Capital now, that we really now can provide that full service to our clients. Like you said, Eric, under one roof, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so with division of, let's say, assets, let's say he's got his 401k, he puts that into the estate plan, he passes away. That's pretty easy, I guess, to spread out between 4 different heirs. What about the other assets, though? What about the house? What about, collectibles, things like that? That's where it starts to get complicated with the estate planning. Do you help with that conversation?
Yeah, we'll help with the conversation and putting it together to put it in front of the client as far as what they have. Some people don't understand what type of liability they have as far as estate taxation. So it's being an informative advisor in that case, really providing the education and then ultimately working with them to get the estate legal documents set up.
Bring the team in, bring in Barbara, or bring in some, obviously we're not estate attorneys or, accountants, but we certainly have that on our team.
Right. But we do talk sometimes about the Roth conversions. I know Art has on the radio show as well. It's one way to become a little bit more tax efficient, especially in leaving money to our heirs. Between the both of you, whoever wants to grab this jump ball, is it difficult to talk about Roth conversions with folks? It's a hard thing to do because you got to pay those taxes up front. Are people grabbing onto that right now?
Yeah, they are because, like you said, it's difficult to stomach paying it up front. But really, you look at the marginal tax rate history, we're at a pretty low tax environment right now relative to what it's been in the past. So the question really comes down to, do you believe taxes are going up in the future, or do you believe they'll be lower than they'll be today?
Yeah, so how many of you out there think, again, taxes are going to go down, right?
Right.
I don't think so, folks. And you're right. I think that's exactly right, Eric. Here's the thing. If you, again, all designs, they're not for everybody, right? But if you really believe taxes are going to go up, folks, you need to take a look at the Roth conversions. It's something to consider. If you don't believe they're going to go up, it's not the right thing for you. It's that simple.
And I know that you've also talked to some folks who said, look, we put together a financial plan, or we did something like this 7 or 8 years ago or 10 years ago. Do you think that plan is still valid today?
Well, that's another great question, Spike. I mean, look at all the changes we have right now, all right? I mean, you said before, it's great to get a second opinion. Do you drive the same car? You had some good analogies, right? What were some of the others?
Well, I'll tell you, do you use the same kind of telephone you did even 30 years ago? Do you drive the same car that you did? Even televisions are so different. You can't use one remote from a TV that you have from 20 years ago. You need to update and upgrade. And things have become more efficient, a little bit less costly, depending on what the products are.
Right.
So they're newer and more efficient, but it can be overwhelming for people who go out there and search on the internet on their own. So if somebody does have an older financial plan or an older annuity or life insurance policy, do you mind reviewing those from a phone call from a TV show?
Of course, and that's our main goal here, is to provide a second opinion, to sit down with you and to look at the portfolio and decide, does this make sense? Are there issues within the portfolio that are problematic for my, success? So that is a major thing we do here at Ellis Financial Group, is really just providing that clarity and peace of mind.
All right, now I'll go the complete opposite lane. Somebody comes in and says, I've heard you talk about holistic planning, or I've been to another firm. I just want you to take a look at my investments, tell me if I'm going to be okay. Len, has that happened? What do you say to that person?
It does. I mean, it certainly happens. But again, what I tell folks is, I would be doing you a disservice. For example, if you went to the doctor and the doctor said to you, oh my gosh, call the ambulance right away. We got to spike it. We got to take you to the hospital now. And you go, what are you talking about? You haven't even done any analysis. You haven't taken my temperature. You haven't taken any blood work, right? It's the same thing, folks. Look, we've got to do a diagnosis first. I would be doing you a disservice if you came in, threw that at us, and said, here, give me a plan. I can't do that. It's just not right. So to give you a proper prognosis, we have got to do a good diagnosis. And that's exactly what we want to do, Spike, for our clients. So I will tell you, sometimes I will tell clients no. And I tell clients this, folks, if you come in to meet with us, there's no pressure from us. Matter of fact, we're going to tell you this. If we're not right for you, all right, look, let us know right away. If you don't feel we're right for you, let us know. If we don't feel we're right, that you're right for us, we're going to let you know. Is that fair? And most folks say, yeah, that's fair. I say, great. And I want you to understand it's okay to say no. So, yeah, we're not going to take on something where we're going to do a client a disservice.
Yeah. Eric, do you enjoy that as well? You realize that this group here at the Ellis Financial Group, Let's Talk Safe Money, this is not about products or quick solutions. This is about relationships and getting to know people. And when you have these clients, you could have these clients for decades.
Yeah.
So you're both kind of choosing each other.
You could.
Yeah, and I like how you phrase that. We're both choosing each other. It's a process where we really want to connect with the individual, with the family, and be a part of their lives. As we talked about earlier, a financial plan is evolving and changing with life events. So we're wanting to walk with you every step of the way.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for the information today, talking about holistic planning. Folks, we want to get you a complimentary copy of Len's new book, 𝗹𝗶 the Financial Warrior, Defensive Moves for Your Retirement Strategies. But more importantly, we want to get you started on your own complimentary written financial plan, a holistic view of your retirement journey. There is no cost to it. It doesn't cost you anything to call the phone number, but it could cost you a lot more by not reaching out and having a plan. Call the phone number you see right here. Thank you so much for watching Let's Talk Safe Money. We appreciate you. We'll be back again next week.